Hello and welcome to Flory Models. Here we are with you on Friday the 5th of November 2021. After what has been another fantastic week on the modelling bench, lots of reviews, lots of work done, and been pushing on right the way through. Anyway, all started on Monday. As you can see, we had the next part up of the bite-sized tutorial section, and this is the one that is covering all the sort of painting and priming and areas like that. So that's what we were looking at in there. It's only a shortish video, it's around about 20 minutes, but it talks about us putting down the primer coat onto the actual Spitfire that we're working on for our basic series. So if you want to go through and have a look at that one, that's a great little tip, especially if you suffer from textured paint. I've done a few videos on textured paint now, but definitely that one you can probably see it better than any of the other videos. So all the work we've been putting into this kit, really just talking about the basics of modelling. So going through that thing about, you know, obviously seam filling, scribing, and obviously re-riveting. This is where you see if all that hard work's paid off. So obviously putting the primer coat down, you can have a good look at it and you can see all about them in there. So to find those, literally just go into the tutorial section if you want to look individually. You can see the actual Spitfire parts of it all down in here. So you can see got some nice photos down into this one as well. And they are down in here in the actual bite-sized series, as you can see in here. That's for those. In the meantime though, because we've now moved into the actual airbrushing stage, if you go over to basic airbrushing, just down in here, we've got the videos down in and we've got some nice pictures along with them so you can see all about it. So if you want to see this one standalone just down in here, that's the actual primer we use. So we use a little bit of Mr. Surfacer Primer 1000, which I absolutely love that stuff, with rapid drying thinners. I think it's the best altogether. And then I show you about going through the motions, as you can see, of priming it, getting that nice wet look to give you a perfect glossy finish afterwards. You can see it dries to a nice satin finish right the way through. So that's really the point of this one, is to get that nice finish. So when you're moving on to your next stages of painting and you're going through the motions of that, then you'll be absolutely fine. Now that's going to continue into on Monday, where we'll be talking about doing the camo work as we've done it down in here. So I'm slightly ahead of you because obviously of last night as well. So I show you the quickest and easiest way to do a camo job. I'm doing solid painting work on this one. So the next part is actually going to show you about putting block color down. So obviously it's just that thing about getting single colors down, and then the next part after that is going to be talking about a camo. So we used paper templates, just put them down, spray over the top, gives you a nice soft edge on this one, and then you can just move on as we've done with decaling and gone through the motions of it down in there. So really that's what we were doing. But again, got lots of videos down in here, as you can see. So we got one about texture, so that sort of answers that one. And as we move through with this will extend with some photos, any information that you need onto those, and any other helpful links to other videos like these ones at the top, you can see down in there. This is all free to watch. This isn't a members thing and behind a firewall and all the rest of it, or your paywall I should say. It is free, so you can pop along and you can just see any of those down there. So I'm just working on this one really to the run up to Christmas to redo some of our videos. Are, you know, 10 or 15 years old now. They're a little bit out of date. Some of the chemicals and obviously some of the tools that I use these days are nothing like what they used to be. So that's what this one's about. But if you want to go back to obviously basic modeling techniques, that's down in there. Basic airbrushing and maintenance, clean out your airbrush, troubleshooting, things like that, that is down there on there as well. So you can go in and see all of those in our tutorial section. And then obviously on Monday as well, we had the next part up with the actual sub. So we've actually been working very hard, and here she is here on this one. Again, we're slightly ahead of you. We've got the next part up with you today. But anyway, this is our sub that we're working on at the moment. Hopefully this is ready for decaling. So we're going to need to get a clear coat onto this one, and then we can decal this one up and making our way through. Said before, never done a sub before, so this is completely new to me. Anyway, so far so good. Lots of sanding and filling though, more than I ever thought we would do on something. But it has paid off because we've lost all the ghost seams have gone now, all the bad joints, things like that. So it's actually looking very, very nice as making our way through. So next part of this one, unmask it, get a clear coat down onto this one, and then obviously we'll be into decaling and chasing along really behind the Spitfire to how that one is. So as you can see down on here, we've got the actual pictures of it, and we talk about having to go back and take care of ghost seams in this particular part, and then re-sanding, refilling, re-sanding, refilling. Did it 3 times in total before we were happy with it, and then obviously finally getting a primer coat down onto this one. And then again we still came back and redid all this area and this area around the front even after we did all of that one as well. So really that was Monday taken care of down in there. Obviously members, you can see that video down like normal. Tuesday we were talking somewhat in tools. So I did a little bit of our usual chat as we do on a Tuesday, and then we were looking at the nippers, which are obviously by Master Tools, which is part of Trumpeter, and we were going through the motions of them, and here they are. Again, they've still got a squeak. And like I explained in there is a tool for everybody, and it's not just all sometimes to do with price, because these are very, very close to the actual display Meng ones in the way that they work. I don't think there's much to it. So like I said before, if you haven't got any, I think these really for sort of 30 quid are probably the best bang for your buck, if you like, going right the way through. They're very, very good. They do the job, no problem at all with it. But there is cheaper ones out there, the Master Tool ones, which they do, which is their other ones, which is £16. They're really good as well. For the money especially, I think they're absolutely fantastic. So you've got them. But as we started the conversation on this one, I've had lots of messages about it. Obviously, if you do want to go display, the Meng, they're the same one, and then God hands, they're for you as well. That's the whole point. At the end of the day, you've got, and I have got them here, very expensive God hand ones down in here, but I use those for very small parts. For that's getting tiny little parts off of sprues. Obviously, you don't want to be hacking into heavy duty plastic, especially clear plastic, otherwise that's going to snap, and that's never a good thing when you've got a broken blade. But it's nice to have cheaper tools, that way if it does break, it's not end of the world. So if you haven't just ruined a 70 pair of nippers. So yeah, at the end of the day, I think these for 16 quid is an absolute bargain. But like I said, these ones for £30, it's just that in between area. Yes, you can go at 50 quid, and obviously you've got the display Meng ones, and then if you want to go up sort of 70 quid, you've got your God hand ones. So again, there's always a tool for everything, for every budget and for every job. So it's finding that sort of area in the middle, which is sort of the jack of all trades. And I do think those Master Tool ones are absolutely fantastic for that. So that was the Tuesday show as we were talking down in there. And then on the Wednesday show, obviously it's the PM, and we sort of carried over a little bit of that show as well on there. So me and Matt were talking about Trumpeter and how I think, honestly, they get overlooked as a company sometimes because they do come out with some really, really good stuff. And after the show even, I was looking around thinking, that's Trumpeter, that's Trumpeter, that's Trumpeter. I have built so much Trumpeter, and then obviously it's sister companies as well, as in, sort of Merit kits, and then, obviously you've got Hobby Boss, and then obviously their tools. So their tools are really good. And again, it's one of those things that they're not AAA company out there. They don't, produce amazing detail and, this, that, and the other, but they do solidly produce really good kits that always seem to go together. They're not overcomplicated, and the detail is to a level that I think is perfectly acceptable. And of course, the great thing about it, like all modelling, like I say, is you can add to it. So you can go in there and add photo etch to it, and resin parts to it, white metal, various things to upgrade that kit if you wanted to. And if you go back and look at some of mine, like the A10 build, I suppose is a classic example. A lot of people would say that's a horrible kit, doesn't go together well. Never had a problem with it going together. It was absolutely fine, and I threw a bucket load of resin at that. So it's got a fully detailed cockpit now. We did all the panels open onto it, so forth and so on, to really upgrade it and bring it up. But it didn't take that much work, and you've ended up with something exceptional at the end of the day. And there isn't any other A10 in 32nd scale that comes anywhere close to it. So actually it's really nice, and a lot of their bigger scale stuff, it's good, and it's at a good price as well. Nothing's massively expensive. So their 1/24th scale range to 48th, and then again recently we were seeing a lot of their 72nd scale kits, especially obviously the Russian stuff, have been absolutely beautiful. Not to mention they've brought out some stuff that no other manufacturer would even touch with a barge pole. So in some ways we were just saying how good a company Trumpeter is, solid releases, always goes together okay, but at the end of the day it's at a good price as well. Anyway, there was a show totally dedicated all about that. Right, and then that brings us up to last night. So last night obviously was the live show. We did something slightly different to this. And that really brings us to this one perfectly well. So I did decaling. Again, we've tried a new format because sometimes we sit here and we waffle and we go on rants and tangents and all the rest of it. So what we thought we were going to do, every other week, we would do what we call the head down show. So it's using basically our head down cameras, and we were going to get on with stuff. So I ended up decaling this, which is the Spitfire we've been using for our basic range, because to be honest, I've already got lots of videos about doing decaling and stuff like that. So I did the decaling on this one. You had Andy. It's great to have him back on the show as well. He was doing a little bit of Gumpler. for the Gundam kits and things like that, so he was working on one of those. Nathan was working on a Harry. John riveting his Stuka, which was riveting, and Andy was doing a little bit of oil washing and stuff as well as answering questions, general chit chat, and having a more relaxing show. And to be honest with you, I can't believe how quickly the show went. It literally just shot by, and so yes, that was quite nice to see. And that brings us up to today as well. So today as well, you've got the next part of the sub, which basically gets you almost to here. It's just ready for the black coat. So we talk about putting, you can't see it under here because I want to unmask it on camera, is the hull red colour, which we've done and got it painted and sorted out. And obviously we've got the black work on now. And then hopefully next week we'll be in a situation where the deckling's on and we're going to be looking at the weathering with this one. So that one's coming along very nicely. That's up with you today. Also up with you today is a couple of reviews that obviously went up over the weekend. So this week. So first up we had the Hawk. So this isn't a new kit, it's a re-release, but it is a really, really nice one. And this is actually for the 48 scale T1 Hawk. And the great thing with this one is it's got posable flaps. And obviously you've got the speed brake as well. It's got some really nice details into it. The only letdown with the kit, to be honest, is the cockpit's a little bit basic. You don't get the photo etch, which was on the original release from back in the day. But obviously this one you get a very, very nice decal sheet, as you can see. Some really nice markings on this one. We've got the finished display team as well with the Hawks. So that's really, really nice as well. And the great thing is raised detail. This is actually raised around the back end. Anyone's ever been near a Hawk will know that's the sort of nemesis of all the kits, because they do them as recessed, and actually it's raised rivets on there. And Italeri did a brilliant job of recreating that. So you've got recessed everywhere else, but at the back end it is raised. And the vortex generators, I think they're a little bit overdone, but a quick sand down just to knock them back is absolutely fine. But generally good details right the way round on that particular kit. And it's, I would say, the best in scale. I think it's basically the best one that's out there in a 48 scale. So that is the review. You can go off and you can see that one right now. That is up there to watch. Up with you today is this little guy. This is the Tacom. So this is the Panzer 1. It's the A and B versions, and you get a 2-in-1. So you get two kits in the box. So the great thing about this one is obviously you've got link and length tracks with it. You get two, so you can either do two of the same, or you can do one as the A version, one as the B version. There's lots of little bits of photo etch to go with this one as well. It's a beautiful little tanks, but again, you do get 2-in-1. So you actually get two Panzer 1s in the box. So some nice stuff there, but generally really nicely detailed. Usual thing of Tacom. As you can see down in there, it is very, very nice stuff. And say link and length tracks for this is absolutely perfect. And it's got a really good diagram pointing out how those all go together. So that's very, very nice indeed. And that is with you right there. So again, some nice reviews there. I have done one as well for the Toyota, for the T90 and the Tiger. That's probably going to be up with you Monday, because to be honest, I've got to do all the editing for it and stuff like that yet. So that one will be coming along. So as you can see, it has been pretty much a full-on week this week getting all of this done. Over on the PM store, they've had various things coming in as well. So down in there, the new arrival section, we've got a few bits that popped in this week. So we say we've got the Hercules down in there, we've got the Hawk and these which I've got in the review, the bikes, things like that. They've got a lot more stuff that is coming this week as well, and it'll be making its way onto the store. We've got a Tamiya Tools restock. We've got various AK restocks coming in and things like that. Vallejo restock is back in now. We've got in the entire the metal colour range. This is the acrylic metals right the way through, and we haven't had a couple of these colours for absolute months, but we've got a full restock of all of those in there now. So if you need some of those, you can go to the PM store and grab some of them. Fujami as well, to be honest, quite excited about these, because we've got a couple of the Saubers, the C30 the C31 Saubers are in from Fujami. We've got that gorgeous the 97 Lotus down in there as well. We've got the famous Tyrrell as well from the Japanese Grand Prix. Bit of a one-off definitely for that one. The one that I absolutely love, and that photo just does not do it justice on that kit, is the Williams. So this is the FW16 kit, and it is a beautiful kit. It's just its horrible box art. That's not showing it off to its best potential there. Obviously very famous cars, and again really, really nice stuff. And if you've never built any of the Fujami ones, you are missing something. So we had a full restock of all of these coming back in as well. So you can see we've got some really nice ones down in there, some of the classic Ferraris, and obviously we've got the 4 GTs there as well. Very, very nice indeed, as you can see. So if you want to grab some of those literally have come in this morning, so get them as you can. And that is about it for this week. As I say, going really, really well. Got a couple of parts to catch up on the Spitfire. We'll get those edited over the weekend, so those will be up with you next week. Hopefully the sub will be pushing along really, really nicely, so that will be coming to an end. So I think by the end of next week, these two will be pretty much out the way. So I've got a couple of reviews for you and some other bits and pieces as we make our way through. Just to remind people, because I've had a couple of people message, no, we're not at Telford next week, because obviously Telford weekend is next weekend. Good luck to everybody who's going. Hope you have a fantastic time, but we're not actually going this year, as we well, it's just personal choice and all the rest of it, so we're not going to be there this year, but hopefully obviously we'll be back next year for that particular one as well. So good job on that one. But generally really, really happy. Things are going well at the moment, so I hope it's going good for you. As always on a Friday, I'm going to leave you with your great work from the gallery. So until next week, happy modelling. Take care.
Wasted. My heart grows heavy. Don't taste me rushing and keep your words naked. You got me blushing, and you forever I'll follow. You'll be my holy ground. You forever I'll follow. For the answer.